History is not always a story of glory. Sometimes it is a story of blood, pain, and injustice. The land we know today as the United States once belonged to the Native American tribes, people who lived in harmony with the earth for thousands of years. But when European settlers arrived, everything changed. What followed was not coexistence, but conquest. Not peace, but extermination. From the very beginning, Native Americans were portrayed as savages, a label that justified mass killings, forced removal, and cultural destruction. The truth is undeniable. What happened to the native people of America fits the definition of genocide. Let us look at the history step by step. First, government-backed massacres. After the Declaration of Independence in 1776, the United States was born with a vision of expansion. But that vision demanded land already occupied by native tribes. During the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, and even the Civil War, native tribes were targeted again and again. Their chiefs were executed, villages destroyed, men, women, and children killed. The Homestead Act of 1862 made this official. For just $10, any citizen could claim over 160 acres of Western land. But this land was not empty. It belonged to native people. The law opened the floodgates to mass dispossession and killings as settlers and militias attacked tribes to clear the way. Second, the destruction of food and livelihood. Natives depended heavily on the great American bison, but settlers and hunters slaughtered millions of these animals, often not for food, but simply to deprive natives of survival. Without food, tribes starved. Entire communities collapsed. The California gold rush worsened the tragedy. In the mid-1800s, violence against natives exploded. Scalps and skulls were traded for money. In California, a native scalp could be sold for just $5, while the daily wage of a worker was only 25 cents. This made killing natives not just encouraged, but profitable. Within just a few decades, the native population in California fell from 150,000 to only 30,000. Behind the myth of the Wild West lies a truth of calculated destruction. Third, forced sterilization of native women. Even in the 20th century, the persecution did not end. In the 1930s, the Bureau of Indian Affairs and Indian Health Services began sterilizing native women, often without their knowledge or consent. By the 1970s, around 70,000 native women had been sterilized. Some entire tribes were pushed toward extinction, not by bullets or starvation, but by medical manipulation. This was cultural and biological erasure, genocide through science. Fourth, forced removal and broken treaties. For a time, the U.S. government signed treaties with tribes. More than 200 treaties were made, yet nearly all were broken. Promises of protection turned into traps for land theft. The Indian Removal Act of 1830 marked the beginning of mass deportations. Over 100,000 Native Americans were forced from their ancestral homes in the East to barren lands west of the Mississippi. This journey became known as the Trail of Tears. Families walked thousands of miles through rain, snow, and freezing winds. Many collapsed from hunger. Children and the elderly died by the roadside. Those who survived carried the scars of unimaginable suffering. Fifth, extermination. Today, the descendants of Native Americans still struggle with the consequences: loss of land, loss of language, loss of culture, the existential crisis of a people nearly erased. International law experts, historians, and even voices within the United States now admit what happened was genocide, a crime against humanity that cannot be denied and cannot be erased. The tragedy of the Native American people is not just American history. It is a lesson for the world, a warning of what happens when greed, racism, and power go unchecked. May we never forget, and may we never repeat these mistakes again.